Welcome to another video with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach. My goal is to help both men and women be in relationships that's best for them. And of course, my goal is to teach women how to be graceful in their actions, how to become a wife. I've been married for going on 14 years. So I've been married for 13 and a half years. To my wonderful husband, and I want you to find someone that's great for you if you are a woman. As for men, my goal is to help you understand how women think, so to speak, and how to gain respect from the woman you want. And there are some things that you would have to do. There are some leadership qualities that is necessary. I do have a book out, Command Respect from the Woman You Want for Men. I have a book that's coming out for women, which is Girl Go Get Your Husband, and a book for teenage girls, Boy Bye. Those two books for the women and teenagers will be coming out soon. It's still in the editing process. It's still a lot going on. So stay tuned for that book. But Command Respect from the Woman You Want is out. It has been out for, I want to say, almost a year now. So we've been talking about wisdom. So we talked about how to seek it, how to listen to it, what to look for. And now we're going to talk about how to observe wisdom. And again, we're talking about wisdom in respect to romantic relationships. So of course you can apply all of this in all types of relationships that you have, but my goal is for you to understand how to vet. And how you vet is literally wisdom. Wisdom is you using your discernment and your understanding, your knowledge and experience, and you're taking all of that into account and applying it. Now, if you are someone who is biblical, you are going to apply it in a biblical way. If you're not biblical, you still need to understand, you need to be wise, right? Because the opposite of wise is to be foolish. And whether you have a degree or not, if you don't have common sense, if you're not properly applying things, you can still be foolish, but with a degree. What people like to say, someone who is book smart, but they are, someone who has no street smarts, no common sense. And we don't want you to be foolish, a degree person, but foolish in your actions. So if you are someone, man or woman, if you're looking for a way to observe wisdom, the way you do that is you look at people's actions and their words. You probably heard the term, do as I say and not as I do. That does not apply here for wisdom. Why does it not apply here? Because if someone is saying, do as I say and not as I do, they're being hypocritical. That means they're not applying the wisdom, the knowledge that they said they had. So you have knowledge, but you're not applying it. In order to be wise, you have to be someone who not only has the knowledge, but you apply it to your life. So if you're someone who's not properly applying it, therefore you are foolish. And if you are wanting to be with someone, you need to be with someone who is properly applying it. So you need someone who is consistent in their words and their actions. This is in any relationship. If someone is telling you something, you want to make sure they're applying it to their life. If they are just saying, you can't go off of the potential of what they say they're going to do. You need to see some type of action behind it and things that they're saying and that they're doing. So let me help you understand how to observe people. Go on dates where you're having to listen to people. Go on dates where you're having to understand, hear what they are saying, have long conversations with people. This is also why I said if you're listening, if you have counsel, and when I say counsel, I mean people who are relationship coaches or people who are giving you advice, you want to make sure that they're following their own advice. If they're teaching you how to be married, you want them to be married. If they're teaching you, how to, if they're a man trying to teach you something, you want them to be a husband, right? If they're a woman teaching you something, you want her to be married. The only way it's applicable for someone to do as I say and not as I do is they're saying, don't do how I used to do. Don't do what I did before, because now I'm smarter. I was foolish when I did these things, but now I'm telling you something that I know what not to do. Right? That's a different thing. They're saying, don't make the bad choices I made, make these choices here. But I didn't do that at the time. So you're getting someone who is saying, don't make the wrong course of action. And you get the thing where people say, don't judge a book by its cover. That's not applicable here. Why? Because when you say don't judge a book by its cover, that means they're saying, even though you look at it, even though it doesn't look like they're doing right, like they're doing whatever it is, there's more than meets the eye. With wisdom, you want, by looking at them, they're wise. by looking at the decisions that they made, by looking at the people they're hanging around with, by looking at whatever their decisions, their actions, their people, their job status, all of those things. You want it to match to the things that they say that they are currently doing, and it's aligning with the goals that they said they want to do. That's wise. That's wisdom. So everybody who is giving you advice, any person that you want to be with, you want to make sure that their goals, their actions, and their words are aligned. That is wisdom. All right. So that is all I have for you, because I want to make sure that this is short and concise, because you have to understand what observation is. You have to understand what wisdom is. Wisdom is someone who is taking knowledge and they're applying it, and then in a godly way. Now, again, if you're not godly, then, none of this maybe is applicable to you. But you still want to make sure that the person, whatever their principle and standards are, is aligned with what they're saying. And then if it's something that you say you are subscribing to, this religion, this Christianity, you want to make sure that you're with someone who's following along in those footsteps. Right? And so a lot of times people are getting with people who they believe they have the potential to be someone, but that person is not showing that they are wise enough to take on the things that they're learning on how to be a productive citizen, how to be a proper, a man or a woman, a man that has masculine energy, a woman who has feminine energy, and taking on that and are applying it to their daily lives. And I'm telling you, this is something I've learned. So if you're thinking that I am, I've heard people say, oh, you're a unicorn. I'm not a unicorn. I'm a person who has learned from my mistakes, learned how to be a wife. I had to learn how to be a wife. I had to learn how to be feminine. I had to learn how to be loving. I had to learn all of these things. And now that I've learned these things, which of course is always a growing process, but once I've gotten there, and once that has also worked well with my husband, now I want to provide this advice to you. People off the camera have been asking me for advice, and I figured, why not share that advice, not with just them, but with others? It's free. It's free. You take it or leave it, right? So I want to provide this for you, but I don't want to be long today, because I think that the longer I am, people will lose the understanding of what observing wisdom is. So I leave you with this today. And also this smoke system is getting on my nerves, because I completely changed it, and 6 of them, and now another one is messed up. So that's driving me crazy. So I'm going to get that fixed right now. But I want to make sure I help you understand. In order to properly observe, write down a list of all the people who are in your life, who you are in a romantic relationship with, who you're friends with, who are you even getting your advice from. Write down all these people, and then write down 3 things. You want to get three things that you can show that tantamounts to them being wise, that whatever advice they provided you. So let's say it's someone who's provided you some type of counsel, whether it's a friend or actual person, a therapist or anything. 3 things. Let's find 3 things that shows that they are applying the knowledge that they said they have. So they're teaching you how to have a proper relationship. They don't need to be divorced. If they're if they're your therapist and they're teaching you how to, and they're giving you counsel on your relationship or your marriage or your boyfriend or girlfriend, they need to be in a current successful relationship. If you are married, they need to be married. Because how are they going to give you advice on being married and they don't know what it's like? Because I can tell you, it's not easy. It's different from being boyfriend and girlfriend to being married, right? If they are someone who is working on their femininity and they're trying to teach you, they need to be feminine. And we're not talking about this dark femininity thing. And we're not talking, if you're a man trying to listen to another man, it can't be that fake masculinity thing. And I mean, like, they can't just be macho. They need to actually exhibit masculine qualities, leadership. They can't be for this, I'm 50-50 and I'm just going to do whatever and pop off at the mouth with women, beat my chest. No, they need to be a true man of leadership, that everyone could say, yeah, this is a man who's a leader. He's a provider. He's a protector. He knows how to have productive conversations. He's a man about his business, right? Mature, right? All of these things is what makes a masculine man. Not my words, but these are things that makes you a true man, not just a man, with boy-like tendencies, right? And same thing with women. Just because she's this age, we don't want her to still act like a teenager. And how she goes about things and how she handles situations. If these are people who are your friends, if they are people who you are trying to be involved with or are involved with, how are they living their life? they've got their parents told them this, the teachers at school told them this, the people on their job told them this, the people in their lives told them this, and whatever they're telling them, if it's the right thing to do, are they living that? Because if they're not, that's not a good source of them being wise. It's showing that they are foolish, actually. So find 3 things to show that this person is wise. And if you can't find those 3 things, these are the people that you should not be listening to. These are the people you should not be in relationships with. So if you want to find people that you can find 3 things to show that they are, and they need to be fundamental things, something of a principle, value, or moral, to show that they are a person who is wise, because they're listening to proper information that's going to help them better themselves, and they're not just listening to it, but they're actually doing it. All right. Thank you so much for listening in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. You are able to go to my website, mrsdanielledevita.com, for more information. Stay tuned for my book that I have coming out for women and girls. Take care.